right now from Milwaukee. This is today's TMJ4, live at 5.
Hello and welcome to the Packers Extra pregame special. Packers and 49ers, a battle for what could become the #1 seed and home field advantage in the NFC. Green Bay coming off a bye and having nearly everyone healthy, but a word of warning. So far this year, teams coming off a bye are only 8-16 in the NFL. That's a winning percentage of 33.33%. Let's go live to Santa Clara. Rod Burke's doing that hard work in the California sun. Rod, there's a reason this game was flexed, wasn't there?
Oh, for sure, Lance. We got a big one with the 8-2 Green Bay Packers taking on the San Francisco 49ers, who are 9-1 going into this game. So many storylines leading into this game. Let's start off with the head coaches. Kyle Shanahan, the head coach of the 49ers, is best friends with Matt LaFleur. They've coached together on multiple teams leading up to this game. They know each other's tendencies, so let's see who can out-scheme who. Like you said, the Green Bay Packers are coming off their bye. They're the more healthy team leading into this game, and we cannot forget about Aaron Rodgers. He was passed up by this franchise back in 2005 as a rookie coming out of Cal. He likes to make them pay when he plays them, so let's see what he brings tonight. And on defense, the Green Bay Packers are going to have to stop giving up big plays. They've been doing it for game after game. They have to stop doing that. Here's nose tackle Kenny Clark talking about the defense and tonight's game.
Let's talk about those running backs. They got a three-headed monster back there. What makes them so difficult to stop?
You know, three really good players, man. They all run hard. All know how to just press the line of scrimmage and just get those leaky yardage, and all of them can take it to the house. So, and the fullback too, they got really good fullback too. So, you know, we're gonna have our hands full up front. You know, we gotta do our job and just make plays on the ball, and yeah, just make plays on the running backs.
Let's talk about you. You got a whole second half. Sounds like almost like a new season. And one of the problems you guys had, and Coach talked about this, was stopping those explosive plays. How do you start against that in Frisco and keep it moving forward? Because you guys have been getting a little leaky on your end.
Yes, staying disciplined. That's the biggest thing, just being disciplined, you know, doing your job, and honestly just making the plays that come to you. When the play come to you, you know, make the tackle and get the guy on the ground. Or if it's, and stay mentally locked in each and every play, each and every drive. You know, we got a lot of spurts where we just dominating guys and just locking guys down, and then out of nowhere it comes out and guys get explosive plays. So we got to just stay mentally locked in each and every snap.
How about Jimmy Garoppolo? He's a guy who, you know, kind of up and down this year. What do you see when you turn on the tape on him?
Man, I see a guy, I mean, he has a lot of control. You know, the run game helps him out a lot, but he's a really good quarterback. He can make all the throws, honestly. He's a guy that he has good chemistry with his receivers and with his tight end. You know, he's not afraid of the moment. You know, they're doing really good right now. And, you know, a big part of it is because of what he's been doing. So, you know, he's a really good quarterback, and yeah, he's doing a great job this year.
You guys got flex into the primetime game. How cool is it to get so much at stake in a primetime game? And how much different is a primetime game than a noon game, because everybody's watching?
Yeah, I mean, you know, everybody's watching, and you know, you want to go out there and just put on a great performance, and just, you know, yeah, man, that's really what it is. You want to go out there and just ball out, and you know, in front of the whole world. So, you know, everybody's gonna be watching. You know, all the lights gonna be flashing. So, you know, you gotta go out there and shine.
Back out live. Let's see if that defense does that, Lance. Now, there's a lot of talk about the San Francisco 49ers 9-1 record, but they've only played 2 winning teams. They beat the Rams and they lost to the Seahawks, and that's a very young team. Now, the Green Bay Packers have a lot of veterans that have played in some big games, and I think that's going to matter tonight. We're live here at Levi Stadium. I'm Rod Burke for today's TMJ4. Lance, back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Rod. And, of course, the Niners have a tough schedule coming up as well. There's so many connections in this matchup. It all starts with the head coaches. 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan has been a big influence on Matt LaFleur's career. They've been on the same staffs in Houston, Washington, and Atlanta, and share many of the same coaching schemes and beliefs.
There's definitely a philosophy there of trying to marry up the plays and the run game with the pass game that I think that we both that he taught me, and again, they do a great job of keeping you off balance. I think that's one of his strengths is he always seems to be a couple steps ahead of the game, and I think he's done that for a really long time.
Hey, we're just getting warmed up here in Milwaukee, but we have to get the Football Night in America studio involved as well. Let's head out to New York City. Tony Dungy, Rodney Harrison, and Mike Tirico, take it away.
Going to the end zone and caught for the touchdown.
Top two records in the NFC. The Packers are 8-2. The Niners are 9-1. Great Sunday Night Football matchup.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see Jimmy G. I don't like the fact that he threw the ball 45 times, Coach. You know, I just don't want that to be on a consistent basis. I think they have to run the football to try to balance things out.
Well, they may have to do whatever it takes to score because they're going to be going against a hot Packers offense. Aaron Rodgers playing in his home area. I know he's going to be fired up and ready to go.
I asked him earlier this year about growing up, and he said it was Steve Young, it was Montana, it was laying on the floor watching those guys. And the Bay Area football's hot again with the Niners so good. And Aaron Rodgers will be there. See you for Football Night in America at 7 Eastern before the Packers and 49ers mega matchup on Sunday Night Football.
Thanks, guys. Hey, it's not just a one Aaron show anymore. There are two A's in Aaron, and now two big-time Aarons. Aaron Jones has been the star of Aaron Rodgers' supporting cast in the Packers offense. Up next, we'll look at the support Jones gets from his family for every game. Stay with us.
The snap, the give, Jones up the middle, cuts it back. He's to the 10, to the 5, to the end zone, touchdown!
Back out live here at Levi Stadium. You have the Green Bay Packers taking on the 49ers on Sunday Night Football. We all know that Aaron Rodgers is having a monster season in this new offense by head coach Matt LaFleur. He is now a dual threat, catching the ball out of the backfield and running past people into the end zone. I think his breakout game came against the Cowboys when he scored 4 touchdowns in Dallas. But what makes him truly dynamic is the relationship he has with his mother and his father and his entire family. We caught up with Jones on game day in Green Bay, and it was pretty special.
All right, we ready, let's go!
We've all seen Packers running back Aaron Jones make defenders look silly on his way to the end zone for a touchdown. And you probably love it when he pops up and gives you his so clean dust off after he makes big plays. You see a star running back who has a relationship with his father that runs deeper than the game of football. We caught up with father and son on game day in Green Bay.
You got that smile like you ready to rip something up, man.
Oh, yeah, that's prom time, you know. Just think about being great, being the best player I can be out there, venting myself, running to the end zone, having a big day, helping my team any way I can.
We've all heard the stories of professional athletes overspending and buying lavish things when the money starts rolling in. That's not the case with Aaron. He keeps it simple.
This is the car that Aaron and his twin brother Alvin shared in high school. And Aaron said, Dad, I don't want a new car. Can you just do some stuff? So we put a sound system in it. We bought these rims. So they're about 7 years old now.
Waffles my wife made.
Inside Aaron's modest home, his mom makes waffles for the entire family before the big game, while his dad proudly shows off pictures of his 2 sons. His sons both played in the NFL. Aaron's brother Alvin Jr. played linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens. These 2 guys have played together since they were little.
So it's game day. This house is all about family. And I got to ask you straight out, man, how important is it to have your family and the loved ones in your house on a game, and a big game like this, and how important is it to you?
Family's everything for me and my family. That's number one for us. I always have my parents at the game ever since high school. I mean, literally, I haven't missed a game. I can always turn in the stands and find them and see where they're sitting.
But I heard a story that when you guys weren't getting along when you were 13, 14 years old, and when you were fighting at each other's throats, Dad made you hold hands walking in the mall.
It wasn't Dad, it was Mom. I told you that.
Okay, Mom.
That was Mom.
We've been doing that since we were like 5, 6. It's not as bad when 2 little kids holding hands, walking around the store. We 15 years old. We run into people we know. They're like looking at you all funny, like. And I'm like, yeah, it was embarrassing. Very embarrassing.
We try to walk behind my parents when they're not looking, like let go of each other's hand, but stay close enough so when they turn around, we'll grab it back. And we're inseparable, we're unbreakable, and I mean, when I'm with him, it's no other joy in the world.
That's when Baltimore played Green Bay.
And their inseparable bond played out on the field earlier this year in Baltimore. With the Ravens hosting the Packers in a preseason game, Alvin got in for a sack.
So take me through that play, and I want to know what it's like for a brother to say, I'm a Packer, but that's my brother.
I was blitzing, and they was play action pass. Running back tried to block me. I pushed him out the way, go sack the quarterback. And then I get back to the sideline, and my coach was like, "You should have pointed at your brother."
Hey, what about for you? I mean, in that moment.
I'm on the sideline. I'm like,
you're like,
I wanted to clap so bad, and then I forgot we got a camera behind us.
And with that, Aaron jumped into his car, and he was on his way to Lambeau Field for the game.
Thanks, bro. Good luck.
Thank you.
It's an hour before kickoff, and we find Aaron's dad in the end zone with his eye on his son.
It's prime time, man. And we talked about being in the end zone, watching your son warm up, and this is a really important time. Like, what are you looking for?
I'm just watching his flow, watch his rhythm, you know, make sure he look like he always looked.
And then right before kickoff, they have a moment like this.
Hey, I love you. I'm proud of you. Hey, go light this place up.
Yes, sir.
So do what you've been doing all your life.
Yes, sir.
All right, love you.
Love you.
All right.
Back out live, there is Packers linebacker Zadarius Smith getting ready and listening to his music for tonight's big game. Now, I think what's really cool about Aaron Jones' parents is that his mom and dad have never missed any game that he's ever played in since he's been a kid. And yes, they are here in San Francisco to root on for their son. I caught up with his dad last night and spent some time with him. What a great family. We're live here at Levi Stadium. I'm Rod Burke for today's TMJ4. We're back after the break.
Welcome back. We're going to get back to our pregame coverage for the Packers in just a moment, but right now let's take a look at what is making headlines today. Milwaukee police are investigating the stabbing death of an 18-year-old.
It happened near 39th and Cherry in Milwaukee's Washington Heights neighborhood last night. Investigators say someone stabbed the victim over a family issue. They did make an arrest, but have not released the names of the suspect or victim. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg formally joining the crowded Democratic presidential field today. The 77-year-old former Republican announced his candidacy in a written statement on a campaign website. It read in part, "I'm running for president to defeat Donald Trump and rebuild America." He will follow with a massive advertising campaign in key primary states across the country.
Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has been released from the hospital. She was admitted after experiencing chills and a fever Friday night. Her spokesperson said the 86-year-old was given antibiotics and fluids and is now resting at home. Ginsburg recently missed a day on the bench because of a stomach bug. She is expected to sit back on the bench again December 2nd.
Thanksgiving is only 4 days away, which means a lot of people are busy getting ready. We saw many taking advantage of the mild weather this weekend, cleaning their yards and putting up the holiday lights. And grocery stores are packed this evening as a lot of families have started picking up their turkeys and all the fixings.
I have a lot of family and friends coming over, so I'm hosting and just trying to get last-minute stuff.
And volunteers spent the whole day prepping at Candy Cane Lane, which opens to the public the day after Thanksgiving this Friday.
Well, if you haven't already, make sure you get out and clean up any loose leaves on your property. Today is the leaf rakeout deadline in Milwaukee. Residents should rake their leaves into the curb lanes. The deadline was extended because of that early snowfall and a late leaf drop.
Thanksgiving week, one of the busiest travel times of the year. Will the weather cooperate for that?
We're going to see. Meteorologist Jesse Ricca tracking some rain and snow coming up this week ahead, Jesse.
Yeah, the good news is this mild weather will actually help us with this big storm system today. A high of 50 degrees in Milwaukee. Now temperatures falling to 47, so still really nice out there. If you have a little bit more time before kickoff, you can still get a little bit of that yard work in, even though the light has left us. You can see a little bit of that sheen on the roadways in West Bend. That's because we got some very light rain, mainly north of Milwaukee, as we were expecting tonight. That comes to an end, and the skies will start to clear a little bit. Temperatures falling to 34 degrees with clearing skies. And tomorrow we will start off with sunshine. Temperatures very close to today. Upper 40s expected. More increasing clouds with a chance for sprinkles late in the day. But again, the next storm system hasn't even quite made it into Portland, Oregon just yet. We've got another system for Friday night and into the weekend. So 2 big storm systems very close to Thanksgiving. Right now, Storm 4 Max again just showing some of that light rain activity moving out, clearing skies. So sunshine to kick off your Monday. That's our last nice quiet day. We'll see a few more clouds and an isolated sprinkle by the afternoon, but again, upper 40s expected. Tuesday, take a look at the time here. 6 a.m. We are going to start your Tuesday dry. I do expect after about the noon hour, that's when the rain is going to start to push on in. And this system continues to track a little bit further to the north. So this keeps us mainly in the rain band for us here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you do have plans to travel to the Northwoods or over to Minneapolis, they are going to be getting the snow from this system. Notice that 6 o'clock on Wednesday morning, still mainly rain. On the back edge of this, we may get a brief period of a wintry mix transitioning over to a very small amount of snow. Most of us are not going to have to deal with the snow shovels at all with this, at least here in southeastern Wisconsin. The heaviest snow band across through portions mainly north of the Dells and over through the Twin Cities. So that's where they're going to see the heaviest snow. For us, the worst turkey travel times I do expect to be again Tuesday evening with that rainy, breezy weather. Wednesday morning will be windy as well with a chance for a wintry mix. And yes, another storm system in the forecast for your 7-day that comes late on Friday and into the weekend. But Thanksgiving itself is looking okay, mainly dry for Grandma's House Drive. 37, just a little bit cooler. But hey, we've had a pretty decent weekend and a pretty decent stretch.
I was checking to see if your hair was messed up because that turkey was like landing on your head. Just sitting right there.
It was a good graphic. All right, up next, Lance Allen sits down one-on-one with Ron Wolf, how the former Packers GM built the team into what it is today. And ironically, a lot started against the 49ers.
Welcome back. The Packers are 3-1 away from Lambeau Field this season. Pretty impressive for a young team, but arguably their worst game of the year came on the road in California. Aaron Rodgers assesses his team's ability to play away from Green Bay and go up against some of the best in the NFL.
I did see a stat that we've beaten 4 or 5 teams with winning records. That's important stuff. We've won on the road in tough environments. We won in Dallas, won in Kansas City. We've got on the road and take care of business, so we'll take that confidence with us. We've also had a stinker on the road, so we got to learn from that experience and get out there and get ready to rock and roll.
Now, recently, Ron Wolf and Michael Baumann combined on a phenomenal book about how the current era Packers were built and resurrected, entitled Ron Wolf and the Green Bay Packers. I'd highly encourage you to check it out and pick it up. I go one-on-one with the former Packers GM and architect of the restored luster of Titletown and what Ron Wolf thought after he traded for Brett Favre and found out the quarterback he obtained from the Falcons failed his physical due to a hip condition. I've never known you to panic. That's the first time I think I've ever heard you. You always seem like a cool customer, Ron.
Oh, I was panicked at that particular time because you have an opportunity when you make a deal to put in the player must report and pass physical. Well, I was so excited in getting Brett that I waived that. I didn't want them to do anything in Atlanta to kill the deal. I wanted Brett Favre.
My dad's in business, and sometimes he's the first one to say to me, don't go into business with your friends, because sometimes it doesn't end up well.
It came very close with Bill Parcells. Unfortunately, however you want to phrase this, unfortunately, he had to have open heart surgery. So he took himself out of the running. And that was fortunate for me because we were close friends and we're like oil and water. That would not have worked. And your dad was correct, by the way. Never, ever hire your friends. With Mike Holmgren, he was like the girl with a curl. Everybody wanted him. There were 5 or 6 other teams escorting him, but fortunately for us, he cast his lot with the Packers and, changed the atmosphere there.
To get to Green Bay, you had to go through the struggle and the pain of the Buccaneers. Would you agree, Ron, that just going through a winless season and realizing what you needed to do in Green Bay to have total control, whatever, can you speak to that situation
Sure.
as well?
No, I agree with what you're saying exactly. It was a wonderful experience for me. We went 0-26. That's a record that never be broken. Ended up 2-26. Someone had to go. Guess who went? I got fired. I vowed that if I ever get an opportunity again, though, to run a franchise, we're going to do it my way. You learn so much more from your failures, I discovered. One of the best things that happened to me, Lance, was I left the Raiders after 25 seasons, or 25 drafts with the Raiders, and went to the Jets for a year and a half, where I worked with a fellow by the name of Dick Steinberg. In that year and a half, I mean, he shaped my whole philosophy.
Fascinating stuff. If it wasn't for Wolf, we likely wouldn't be enjoying big games like today. Let's head back out to California. Rod, what are you looking forward to tonight?
I'm looking forward to see the Green Bay Packers offense put together 4 quarters of football. They have yet to do that this season, but they do have Devontae Adams back. Of course, he played in that last game. I ran into him last night at the team hotel, said he's feeling a lot better, but this Packers offense has to play better, and they have to protect Aaron Rodgers against the San Francisco 49ers defense, they're getting the most sacks out of anybody in the NFL. And I caught up with Packers offensive lineman Billy Turner on tonight's big game.
How do you look at this opportunity for this football team in prime time? 2 of the best going at it in the NFC.
I mean, we look at it just like every other game. Our goal is to be 1-0 at the end of this week. Obviously, it's one of the teams in the NFL with one of the best records, tied for the first, I think, with the best record. So, it's going to be a great game. It's a great opponent. They have a great defense, a great offense, but at the same time, it's no different than us. It's just like every other game we played thus far this season, and we're approaching that the same exact way, and that is to go in and to be victorious and to be 1-0 at the end of the week.
What kind of statement can you send, and how can it propel this football team to win a type of game like this on the road?
I mean, it's definitely big, especially when you're going up a great opponent like the 49ers on the road. It says a lot about your football team. They're a disciplined football team just like we are. So I think it's going to be a great game, a great matchup. To be able to go to a place like San Francisco against a great team and to come away with a victory, that says a lot about our football team, where we're at in the direction that we want to head.
When you look at your football team, Coach said you haven't put together those 4 quarters. Offensively, what do you guys want to do to put that, when you put in those 4 quarters, like when you're putting it all together?
What we want to do is to be able to end every drive with points on the board, whether that's a field goal or a touchdown. We want to end every drive with points put on the board. So, we want to be successful nonetheless, throwing the ball, running the ball, but at the end of the day, we want to play a complete game just like Coach said. We want to be able to move the ball, run game, pass game, whichever way we want.
I know everybody's like, oh, noon games are easy, but this is prime time on Sunday night. For some of those guys who will never get an opportunity to be in your shoes playing in a game like that, what's the magnitude? How does everything go up a level in prime time, and how much fun is it for you to play in a game like this?
I mean, it's definitely fun. Every game is fun, don't get me wrong, but, when you're on national television playing in front of the entire country, the entire world, it sets a standard, but there's just the heightened, electricity, the emotions that are in the air. It's a great football team. This is going to be a playoff-type atmosphere and a playoff-type opponent that we're going to be going up against, so there's going to be electricity, man. It's going to be fun, and we're going to go out there and be victorious, nonetheless. But at the same time, we got to make sure that, we're focused. We're getting everything done during the week, preparation-wise, so we can go out there and be successful.
Man, he good, man. You got a job at TV. I mean, I know you're making too much money doing football now, but have you ever thought about, you're a good-looking guy, you're into fashion. Have you ever thought about maybe doing this TV thing? Because I'm going to tell you right now, man, we've been doing this thing in weekly, and you're doing pretty good, man.
I mean, it's been brought up before, but, like you said, nonetheless, I'm having fun doing what I'm doing right now, so maybe in the future you can line that up for me.
It is always fun talking to Billy Turner, and they got great weather here at Levi Stadium for tonight's game, about 70 degrees for tonight's game so far. And coming up in sports, we're going to have Wayne Larrivee. We're going to be breaking down tonight's big Sunday night game between the Packers and 49ers. I am Rod Burks for today's TMJ4. More of the sports special coming up after the break. And welcome back to Levi Stadium. I'm Rod Burks, and I am joined by Wayne Larrivee. Of course, Wayne, we got a big game tonight. You got the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers in a big spot tonight. And let's talk about the Packers defense first off the break. They have had a problem stopping the big plays. I mean, they've been giving up a lot of explosive plays.
There's no question about that, Rod, and it's been sometimes a breakdown, especially plays over the middle have been troublesome for this defense. It's something that hopefully during the bye week they got a handle on that and can correct some of that because they'll need to tonight.
Okay, and let's talk about a wide receiver on the other side of the ball, Allen Lazard. Here's a guy who was a free agent, got cut, got brought back on the football team. He's made some dynamite plays for this Packers offense, and Aaron Rodgers really likes him.
Aaron Rodgers really likes him, and Allen Lazard might be the number 2 receiver on this team right now behind Davante Adams. He's a guy who's really, and I think what has endeared him to everybody, he makes the tough catch, and that's the big thing. He's pulled them out of a couple of tough third down situations on a number of occasions, made some good touchdown catches, and I think that's why he has the quarterback's favor.
And the 49ers have a big tight end on their side, George Kittle. He's hurting, but he wants to play in this game tonight.
Yeah, he might be the most complete tight end, Rod, in the NFL, and I understand Kansas City has a very good one. But this guy's a great run blocker. He's a great receiver. He gets open over the middle. He's playing on a tender ankle tonight. Somebody said it was broken. I can't imagine if it's broken, he's playing on it. But this is a guy, number 85 for San Francisco, you need to keep your eye on.
I mean, George Kittle, I mean, how much can he help them, you think, if he's playing on a broken ankle?
Well, he's probably better than what they've had in there, although Ross Dwelly last week had a 2-touchdown game at tight end. So, at any rate, this is an area the Packers have really got to address. That's the tight end on that drag route over the middle.
And let's talk about the Packers offense real quick. What are you looking to see? Aaron Jones is having a monster season. The dual threat out of the backfield. He's catching the ball. He's running the football. What are you looking to see out of that Packers offense tonight?
San Francisco has given up some yards on the ground, but they have very good people up front. I'm looking to see if the Packers inside run zone scheme, the quick traps, the hitters right at the defense, if that will work here tonight, it's going to really put a lot of pressure on the inner 3 of the Packers offensive line to make that happen.
He's the voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrivee, and I'm Rod Burks here at Levi Stadium. We got a big one tonight, folks. You got the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football. We'll have more of our sports show coming up after the break.
And welcome back on Packers Extra. Today will mark Justin Sterna's 50th Packers game in a row. Maybe it doesn't sound that impressive until you realize he buys the tickets, the plane tickets, the hotel rooms, meals, and everything else. And oh yeah, he has a real, regular, full-time job. Some fans never miss a single play of the Pack. But Justin Sterna hasn't missed a single game in a while.
Your claim to fame is almost 50 consecutive Packer games, home and road.
Home and away. This will mark my 49th straight game, home and away, including playoffs. And it's been quite the run so far.
That's right, the Mequon native has gone to every home game, road game, and playoff game since December 11th of 2016.
So the first question would be, do you have unlimited funds? Are you like a millionaire or a billionaire?
If I was a millionaire, I would go to every game the rest of my life. And, you know, I don't have a claim to fame yet. Maybe, maybe not. I guess time will determine that.
Yeah.
But, you know, my work schedule's flexible. I have, you know, family that supports me, not financially. All of it's my own financial means, it's my own time, and it's my own dedication to make these games.
Do you have the best boss ever to give you time off or to allow you a little special dispensation?
I work for Marcus Theaters. I run the theater in Saukville, and Marcus has been great to me, actually going on 15 years this coming year with them, so very loyal. And my schedule is pretty flexible to an extent. Usually I'm off on Sundays and Mondays, so it allows me some travel time to go to the Sunday game. If there's a Monday night game, I'm able to do that. And then sometimes there's Thursday games, and, you know, just got to kind of structure that when the schedule comes out.
So what's better theater, the Packers or what you put in the movie theater?
Oh, it depends on the week. It depends on the week.
Of course, there are times where the streak has barely stayed alive.
Closest call you've ever had to missing a game?
Oh, man, there's been a few of them, but the closest one was the Patriots last year on November 4th.
Yeah.
And we had no tickets. Obviously, the average price is about $400. I did not have that kind of money.
Right.
And in the movie industry, I met Ed Policy's sister, Kathleen, and I made a phone call. I said, look, I don't expect anything. And she was like, let me put some feelers out. She talked to Ed, and the Packers had bought me tickets for the game. 2 tickets for the game. And I will never forget that moment.
Now the goal for Justin, get to 100.
Mark Murphy and I talked the Redskins game last season, which marked 23 straight games at that point. And I was talking to him on the field. I got an on-field pass. Very fortunate, very blessed for that. And he's like, hey, Justin, you know, we're talking. And he's like, hey, so how many games? And I was like, 23. And, you know, we shook, and he's like, I bet you can't get to 100 games. How far can the streak go? I was like, 100 games, Mark. I was like, what?
He was laying down the gauntlet.
He was. And I was like, okay, so while nothing's been determined what I would get to get there, you know, I'm taking it one game at a time. And we shook and said, You know, he's like, if you get to 100 games, that's great. We'll talk.
One game at a time is not a cliche. It's a way of life.
It's a way of life, and it's a work of art at the same time.
Already heard from Justin today. He's in Santa Clara and ready to roll. So it's 50 in a row. We mentioned it before in the broadcast. The connections between these two teams run deeper than just both head coaches. They have a storied postseason link as well.
We need everybody today. Every single person on this team.
The first playoff matchup occurred in the 1995 divisional playoffs, and it changed the perception of the Green Bay Packers. Mike Holmgren's team had made the playoffs for the third straight year, but from the 49ers' first offensive play, these Packers showed they were ready for more.
It off to the left to Derek. Fumble ball. Packers pick it up. Down the sidelines. Newsome to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Green Bay.
The defense manhandled the defending Super Bowl champs. Keith Jackson and Mark Chmura gashed the Niners defense in a 27-17 Packers win. Green Bay lost in Dallas the next week, but make no mistake, the Packers were no longer just a lovable feel-good story. They had arrived as a legitimate Super Bowl threat.
There's only one way to play football. How is it?
In the 1996 divisional playoffs, Lambeau Field was a soggy, muddy mess. Brett Favre passed for a team playoff low of 71 yards. Steve Young, battling broken ribs, played just 2 series, but the Desmond Howard magical ride was in full bloom.
And Desmond Howard may go all the way. There are no flags down. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Edgar Bennett, the ultimate mutter, ran for 80 yards and 2 scores as the Packers knocked the 49ers out again, 35-14. 3 weeks later, they were Super Bowl champions. The 1997 NFC Championship game, another rainy, muddy contest, but this time in San Francisco.
Here they come again, and they got him this time. Back at the 6-yard line on Bernardo Harris.
The Packers' defense dominated, and Dorsey Levens set a franchise playoff record with 114 yards rushing and a 23-10 win. The third straight year the Packers ended San Francisco's season. The Packers claimed the George Halas Trophy in subdued celebration in the downpour at Candlestick and were off to another Super Bowl. Everything changed in the 1998 wildcard playoffs. The Packers took a 27-23 lead on a Brett Favre to Antonio Freeman touchdown pass with less than 2 minutes remaining. But then a series of events doomed Green Bay. Jerry Rice fumbles on a swing pass. But this is 1998. Instant replay as we know it was implemented the next season. 49ers keep the ball, and the drive continues. Then Craig Newsome has a chance to end it.
And intercepted by Newsome. Newsome, did he intercept? No, they ruled no, he didn't intercept.
Given another chance, Steve Young doesn't disappoint, and Terrell Owens becomes a full-blown star. Super Bowl dreams, done. 3-game postseason winning streak over the 49ers, done. But more than that, it was the end of the line for 2 Packers icons. Reggie White retired, and Mike Holmgren became coach and general manager in Seattle. The Packers got a measure of revenge in 2001. Brett Favre led 4 second-half scoring drives. Mike McKenzie and Tyrone Williams collaborated on a game-turning fourth-quarter interception to, at least at that point, keep the Packers' all-time record in home postseason games perfect. Then there wouldn't be another matchup until Mike McCarthy and Jim Harbaugh squared off in back-to-back seasons. The 2012 divisional playoffs at Candlestick, Sam Shields put the Packers in front with a 52-yard interception for a score. But this game will be forever remembered for Colin Kaepernick running through, around, and past the Packers defense.
Kaepernick rolling right. He's got running room. 45, 50, 45, 40. Look out. He's down the sideline to the house. Kaepernick, 56-yard touchdown run.
Kaepernick ran for an NFL record 181 yards. The Packers defense yielded an embarrassing 579 total yards in a 45-31 loss.
It is chilly here, but it's actually a balmy 5 degrees at the moment.
A 2013 wildcard game at frigid Lambeau Field. Aaron Rodgers had just returned the week before to help the Packers grab a playoff berth. And when fullback John Kuhn blasted in from a yard out, the Packers had a 17-13 lead in the fourth quarter. But Kaepernick connected with Vernon Davis to put San Francisco back on top. After a Mason Crosby field goal tied the game at 20, another near miss haunted the Packers in the final minutes.
Kaepernick throws the out left side, and it's knocked down, nearly intercepted. Oh, my goodness.
Rookie Micah Hyde plays the ball beautifully but can't make the interception. Kaepernick leads the 49ers into position for the game-winning field goal, and the 49ers ended the Packers season once more.
Great stuff and mostly great memories by executive sports producer Rick Rieprock. Right there. Coming up, another national perspective on the Pack from the Sunday Night Football on NBC crew. That's in 2 minutes on Packers Extra.
Back out live here at Levi Stadium. Packers quarterback Tramon Williams getting excited about this opportunity to take it on the 49ers. And here he is.
What do you look forward to here at this opportunity in prime time on Sunday Night Football?
Oh, man. I mean, anytime you play prime time, you know, you want to make a statement. Obviously, the San Francisco team is going to be tough. I think they have, if playoffs started today, they will be in the #1 spot. So that alone tell you what type of team that this team is. It tells you that it's going to be a challenge to look good against them, but we do know that we have the capability of looking good.
What do you think about Jimmy G? Cut on that tape. He's been kind of up and down. Just, you know, what do you think about his play? What do you see when you do cut on the tape?
You see a quarterback with great talent and ability, good arm talent. Is very accurate with his passes and runs that offense very well. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan has been a great coordinator in this league for a while now. And you can see it, you know, that offense is moving the ball up and down the field on people. That defense is playing well, and they have a lot of weapons and speed.
How about this defense? Okay, you guys have been giving up the big plays. Coach has talked about it. You got so much talent, so much better than the defense you had last year. What do you guys need to do to stop giving up those big plays and give that ball back to your offense?
Oh, man, we just got to play good, fundamental, sound football. We have to know that, you know, we can't let guys get over the top of us. We have to tackle well. You know, the explosives don't always come on, you know, the ball going over your head. You know, it comes on missed tackles and, you know, guys get explosive gains. So we got to do all of those things, man. We got to clean up some things. You know, obviously, first and foremost, you can't let the guys get on over the top of you. And when guys do catch the ball, you got to get them on the ground.
What has changed in this locker room? I see the energy. I hear the music when I walk into practice. Yeah. What has changed? I mean, it's all for the good.
It is, man. It's a real brotherhood. From the D linemen to the DBs to the linebackers, all the way over to the receivers and the QBs. Right. Everybody's on the same page, man. And when you have that type of vibe, that type of chemistry, it meets more than the eye. You have to be in here to feel what's going on. You know, you can't just explain it. It's just a feel to it, and everybody's out here having fun. You know, it may not be perfect all the time, but it's no finger pointing. You're still trying to give your all for your brother. And at the end of the day, that's all that counts.
You already got a Super Bowl ring, and you played an integral part in helping them with some big plays, and you got one of the best Hall of Famers when his career is done in Aaron Rodgers. What would it mean, taking a step for you to help him and to help yourself and this team get to the Super Bowl when this thing is all said and done, even though it's down the line?
Oh, man, it'll be huge, like you said. You know, like I said, that's the goal. The goal never changes. You know, we continue to put ourselves in position by winning, you know, one game at a time. Obviously, starting off with San Francisco this week, and we'll see how that goes. It's going to be a tough challenge, and we're up for the challenge. So it'll be huge, though, if I can get another one, man. I need #2 for sure.
Thank you, Tramon. And we also caught up with pregame host of Sunday Night Football, Liam McHugh, and here's his thoughts on the Packers defense.
Well, I think the biggest one right now in terms of the Packers is, can their defense step up and be the defense we thought they were right at the beginning of the season? Right. Now we know the Bears offense, not very good. Right. But at the time, we're like, whoa, this Packers defense, perhaps they can carry them some games. I think the offense is clicking well enough. I think you got what you bargained for with this LaFleur-Rodgers marriage. It's working. The defense needs to step up. And they're going to be challenged here tonight by a very good ground game and Jimmy Garoppolo, who's been pretty darn good the last few weeks.
We got the Packers and the 49ers for Sunday Night Football. We have more coming up for you after the break. We are live here at Levi Stadium. Of course, the Green Bay Packers taking on the San Francisco 49ers in a huge game. The winner of this game will be in the driver's seat for that top NFC seed, and it is going to be a big one. How well will Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense play? I'm Rod Burke for today's TMJ4. Lance, back to you.
Thank you very much. And yes, Aaron Rodgers loves playing the team that could have drafted